There's an episode of The Office in season 7, and it's called Goodbye, Michael. This is actor Steve Carell's final time playing Michael Scott as a regular on the show, and he makes an interesting but understandable decision regarding how to leave the company, where he's worked for 19 years. Rather than openly saying goodbye to his friends and coworkers on his last day working at Dunder Mifflin, he chooses to let them believe that tomorrow is his last day instead. That he'll show up for work the following morning as always, and that he'll say goodbye to everyone then. Meanwhile, he says his goodbyes quietly in personal and often meaningful ways that his coworkers and friends may not recognize as being meaningful or kind or special until they think back on these moments and realize that was him saying goodbye. If you would, hold that in mind. We'll circle back for it in just a few minutes. Right now, I'm thinking about my friend. I won't say his name, but he's one of my best friends who I've shared a deeply meaningful friendship with over the past 19 years. And often when we're catching up, I'll hear him sigh and he'll say to me, "I'm tired. When this life is over, I just want to sleep." And I think I know what he feels. Maybe you do too. There's this idea of soul exhaustion, and it's not a subject that's discussed very often at all because it's a subject that no one really needs to understand who isn't going through it. The Gnostic scriptures are full of references to the incarnation of souls and human bodies, accompanied by a kind of spiritual amnesia. In the Apocryphon of John, Jesus presents a detailed cosmology in which souls are hurled into forgetfulness, and in which present is the word used for the physical body, and the state of forgetfulness that accompanies it. In the Gnostic scriptures, the only way to escape this present of flesh is to remember what we really are. That's the gnosis, the knowledge that can free us. And we see this in Vedantic teachings as well. It's worded differently. The cosmology is different, but in some pretty substantial ways, it's the same story. Here, the soul that has completed its earth journey is said to have broken free of Samsara, the wheel of rebirth, which happens through enlightenment. Enlightenment also involves remembering what we are. Both Gnosticism and Vedanta refer to this world as one that is made of illusions. Here, the same forms are recycled and repackaged and resold to us over and over again, but they fail to bring us satisfaction. And maybe that's all true. Maybe we have been here before, and this desire to be satisfied doesn't end, not even when the body does. And so we come back again and again. We forget that we've been here before, and we forget that we lost everything and everyone that we had before. And we forget that nothing and no one lasted the last time we did this, not even us. And we forget that we left this experience unsatisfied, because who would want to remember that, really? And we buy the ticket again, and the price we pay is the experience of what we're buying. And it's the same movie showing now that was showing the first time we watched it. But eventually, we realize that. We know this movie. We remember this movie.
The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and through. You've seen your birth, your life and death. You might recall all of the rest. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
The experience of awakening is different for everyone, but in some sense, it's the same experience, and it is an experience that changes everything. You know that you are not your name, you are not your role in the world, you are not the things that you've done or the things that have happened to you. You are what you were before any of that. You're not your personality, you're not your mind, or even the mind stream that one day will die. You are a spark of awareness, the witness. And what you are cannot die because it was never born. Your true story cannot end because it never even began.
I remembered who I was. I knew that I belonged to the light. I cast off the filthy garment they had wrapped me in, and I journeyed home, singing.
In Buddhist thought, someone who is in the process of living their final human life is called anagami, a non-returner. They ain't coming back. These are people who haven't attained full enlightenment. They aren't a Buddha, but they're freed from the cycle of birth and death, and they won't be reborn on earth. They are on their way out the door. Which, oddly enough, brings us back to the office, the place where all my conversations will return if they go on long enough. But this time, when we think about the episode, Goodbye, Michael, let's, for fun, think about it as someone leaving this world instead. A place no less flawed yet beautiful than Dunder Mifflin, the office where Michael works. Dunder Mifflin is a place that is ever-changing, but always somehow returning more or less to where it all began, even if it's just starting the whole series over again. Michael isn't just ending a job, he's ending a job he loves with people he loves because he's ending a cycle in his life, a whole section of his existence, a part of his entire identity, and maybe even the biggest part. The emotional architecture of Michael Scott's farewell holds up a mirror to the quiet, unceremonious withdrawal of a non-returner. Someone living their last human life. Michael is preparing not just to exit a job, but to exit a life, to leave behind nearly everything he knows. Michael is doing this with a mixture of happiness and sadness, bittersweet love and unrequited longing with an air of secrecy, but also with a sense of celebrating his own liberation. Now he sees what he could have never seen this way before, because now he's seeing it for the last time. Michael knows he's leaving today, but he's choosing to instead tell everyone that he's leaving tomorrow. He doesn't want their time together to be spoiled by the mutual knowledge that they may never speak again. In the same way, a non-returner prepares for and holds on to their knowing quietly. They don't need to argue. They don't need to convince anyone of anything. They don't even try to awaken others who aren't ready to wake up. They love others enough to let them sleep and dream. They let others go on dreaming because that's what the others still feel they need to do. The non-returner can step away without making a show of their stepping away, and they see the tenderness and respect in not disrupting others' paths.
Be happy about your growth, in which, of course, you can't take anyone with you, and be gentle with those who stay behind. Be confident and calm in front of them. And don't torment them with your doubts, and don't frighten them with your faith or joy, which they wouldn't be able to comprehend. Seek out some simple and true feeling of what you have in common with them, which doesn't necessarily have to alter when you yourself change again and again. When you see them, love life in a form that is not your own, and be indulgent toward those who are growing old, who are afraid of the aloneness that you trust. And don't expect any understanding, but believe in a love that is being stored up for you like an inheritance. And have faith that in this love there is a strength and a blessing so large that you can travel as far as you want, without having to step outside it.
Michael says goodbye. He has a list of people that he checks off the list as the day goes on, and he has to get through this list before his taxi arrives to take him to the airport. He shares kind words and a joke with Jim. He creates an opportunity for Oscar to enjoy being condescending to him one last time. He attempts to give Kevin and Meredith the chance for true love, as misguided as this attempt may be. To Kelly, he gives the gift of his absence, realizing that's what she wants the most in that moment. And to Dwight, he gives the letter of recommendation Dwight's been wanting, as well as the game of paintball he's always asked Michael for. And he asks Dwight questions about bears, not because he doesn't know the answers, but because those are the questions Dwight would enjoy answering the most. A soul living its last incarnation probably doesn't need anything from this world. It only needs to tie up loose threads, not out of obligation, most likely, but out of love. They may return kindnesses, mend old wounds, say the things that they've always left unsaid, either because they were afraid to, or because they were too busy, or because they just didn't know how to put the words together before. They begin to interact with people more and more, as though it's the last time they'll meet, because it is. This isn't someone they'll meet again in another life. This is someone they're seeing for the last time, and it's gentle. It's not dramatic. It's just real. And Michael Scott, this is perhaps the first time we've seen him just let go of this persona he's clung to for years, this exhausting person to be and to animate. Now he's more sincere, he's quieter, he's calmer, he's still funny, and he still makes mistakes, but there's something new there too. It's vulnerability, and it's a kind of peace. A person's final life often involves the quiet falling away of egoic masks, and all the masks that they've worn, they've left their mark, yes, but the need to wear these masks slowly disappears entirely. The need to perform, to prove, to succeed, to show them all, that begins to fade. What remains is the original face referenced in Zen koans. The true nature. A being becoming translucent before they disappear entirely. In perhaps the most symbolic moment of the episode, Michael Scott is standing in the airport. The cameras can travel no farther. Even he is finally at this point of no return, and he's about to share his last embrace with one of the characters who's been most important in his life, and this is when he reaches into his pocket and removes the lavalier microphone. A soul making its departure from this life, but also from this world, is no longer broadcasting because they no longer need to be heard. The act of surrender is performed in absolute silence. There's no earthquake. There are no fireworks. There is no sermon given. The show goes on, as it has always gone on before, only now the soul steps backstage. Michael boards a plane to Colorado to be with Holly, the woman who he loves, and he steps into a new life. He walks away from everything and everyone he's known. In much the same way, at the end of our part in the show, when the episode concludes and credits roll, the soul leaves the wheel of becoming. It may not know exactly what's next, but it trusts the source and its pull more than the pull of this world. It's not leaving because it hates the world. Its work is just done. Michael Scott's last day working at Dunder Mifflin is funny, it's tender, it's awkward, it's deeply human, which is exactly how spiritual endings usually are, no matter how often we're told otherwise. Michael is not a saint. He's not enlightened in the same way that we're talking about enlightenment, but he does move through the world with love on his way out. He's not clinging. He's not trying to take anyone or anything with him. He's just having a last look around. Caitlin Seal wrote, "They say goodbye not with thunder, but with thread, stitching closed what no longer needs to remain open." I'm Jack Sawyer. Thank you for watching.